Broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Good morning, good evening, wherever you are, different parts of the world. Thank you for joining us. This is the IFEES GEDC IUC webinar coming today. It's a very special team. See the smiling faces. Need to go make the presentations, and it's exciting for us to talk about the Airbus GEDC Diversity Award. So I'm going to hand this over without any to Serene Technai. Serene Technai, who is the president of the chair of the GEDC. So go ahead, Serene, it's all yours.
Hello, everyone. It's my pleasure. Can you hear me? All right. It's my pleasure to welcome you all to this very special edition of the International Federation of Engineering Education Societies and Global Engineering Deans Councils webinar series. Today we celebrate diversity with our corporate sponsor, Airbus. We have 7 years of time-honored tradition of celebrating diversity with Airbus. And we do this through the most comprehensive global diversity award there is in engineering. From the inception continues to be as such. Today we will enjoy the presentation of the 2019 awards winning project. But before I get to introduce the 2019 winners, I would like to introduce colleagues on the panel with me today. It is an honor to serve alongside you, ladies and gentlemen. I have here Airbus colleagues, Dr. Amanda Simpson, the Vice President of Research and Technology of Airbus Americas, and Suzanne Baltai, who is the Director of University Relations. So first, let me give the microphone to Suzanne and then Amanda before I get to introduce the rest of our panel. Suzanne?
Yes, can everybody hear me now?
Yes.
Very good. Thank you very much.
Yes.
Thank you very much, Sharon, for this warm welcome. And I'm also very happy and honored to be with all of you, albeit virtually. It would be much pleasant to be personally, physically together, but I'm glad that we have this opportunity to see each other and now to hear each other as well. So just one or two words very quickly about the cooperation between Airbus and GEDC. As many of you know, Airbus is a corporate member of GEDC, and we actually joined forces together in 2012 to launch and to create this Airbus GEDC Diversity Award. The main objective is really to recognize and to award the achievements of individuals and of different teams, really with bringing more diversity to engineering education. This award, not only does it recognize and celebrate the winners, but it really also has a long-lasting impact on engineering and diversity initiatives. It also helps us, I represent HR function. It also really helps us to build a pipeline of diverse engineers for the future. For us at Airbus, one of the long-term goals of this award, again, as I mentioned, is to help increase diversity among the global community of engineers, because we really see diversity as a major driver for innovation and for growth. Amanda Simpson, again, as Sharon mentioned, who is our VP of Research and Technology in Airbus Americas, will also speak a little bit more about diversity and the importance of diversity within Airbus. It is really, to open this project submitted worldwide by teams working in or with engineering schools or faculty and supported by the Dean of Engineering. One of the main points is really to show proven, tangible results in bringing diversity among engineering students and graduates. As previously mentioned, the objective really is to celebrate and to shine a light on these projects that really inspire students from all profiles and all backgrounds to study and to succeed in engineering STEM. Some of the other objectives that we really have is, of course, is to increase the impact, but it also to increase the visibility. We really try to do a media buzz, a social media buzz around this, not only celebrating the current winners, but also the previous winners and the previous projects as well. To ensure meaningfulness, and again, we really highlighted this, that the project should really truly be useful, meaningful, and tangible. One of the other objectives is to have entries from all of the continents and at least 20 countries, and over 200 internal. So if you think about it, we have over 200 internal Airbus stakeholders that are involved in the preparation, the mentoring, and the judging, the jury of these projects. The latest edition, unfortunately, due to COVID-19, was a little bit challenging to bring together, but with GEDC, I know that Sharon, you supported this very, very much. We put our heads together, and also with my previous colleague, Clémence Bastien, who was head of employment marketing, who has now currently left to join Airbus Helicopters. There was many thoughts put into how we could actually bring this to light. We did want to have it physically at Airbus. This was one of our objectives. Unfortunately, this was not possible, so we really did bring a virtual diversity award that I'm very happy to say was a great success. Sorry, I'm looking also a little bit of the notes. I don't want to miss any of these important details, but we really did see 48 entries representing 43 universities or organizations across 18 countries. And this was the highest number of entries that we had in the history of the awards. So on June 3rd of this year, 3 finalists from Canada, Italy, and UK were invited to present to a distinguished jury. The distinguished jury was also Sharon, who's present with us, Jean-Brice Dumond, who is the Executive Vice President of Engineering and also the patron, the sponsor of the GEDC Diversity Award, Amanda Simpson, who is also present with us, Jennifer Ogle, who was Head of Inclusion and Diversity, and Jakob Astatke, who is also present with us as well. So the finalists attended this award ceremony, who was, as I mentioned, who was presided by Clémence Bastien. One of the main things as well, besides having a award ceremony and a monetary award, $10,000 US was for the final winner, and 1,500 US for each of the 2 runners-up. But there was also executive mentoring from an executive, Airbus executive, as well as mentoring and support from an inclusion and diversity representative. So this was something new, and this is till the end of the year, really to support the success and to follow these projects. Just in a last word that I'd like to say, again, is that I would like to personally congratulate all 3 of the projects. I'm very, very happy to have Jakob with us as well, to have all of the members of the panel, and I'm so looking forward to hearing a little bit more about the project. I would now like to pass it over to Amanda Simpson.
Well, thank you, Suzanne, and thank you, Siren, for the introduction earlier. And on behalf of Airbus, please let me express congratulations to all the impressive winners that you're going to hear from today. We're proud to be the sponsors of this Diversity Award, and I am very excited to be part of this webinar. At Airbus, we are committed to diversity, not only because it is the right thing to do for society, it is important to our business. To succeed, you need to come from different points of view to find the best possible solution. And this is critical in engineering. Now, right from the beginning of Airbus 50 years ago, we learned about bringing together different nationalities, ideas, and preconceptions. Airbus started with bringing together the French, Spanish, German, British, and also some Americans. And it was a bit of a challenge to align everyone. But from this, it clearly showed that the diversity of ideas and thoughts could not come from one single way of thinking. Now, today, employees at Airbus represent more than 130 nationalities, speak more than 20 languages, and we continue to lead the path towards a more diverse and inclusive working environment. And this is particularly important in engineering, in a global world where you need to seamlessly integrate multiple technologies, as this will be the key to success today and in the future. Now, for Airbus, diversity and inclusiveness at work means promoting a friendly environment, encouraging collaboration, and gaining inspiration and experience without discrimination. It means eradicating prejudice attached to gender diversity and bringing people together from many social and cultural backgrounds. And this social openness is also expressed in Airbus's approach to innovation that I oversee, of course, in the Americas. We have been working with the Global Engineering Deans Council to attract the diverse talent that we need for the future. This award is an incentive for engineering schools and colleges across the world to think about diversity. From the 21 finalist projects recognized in the first 7 years of this award, over 170,000 students worldwide have been directly impacted who otherwise may not have considered an engineering career path. You're about to hear from some of our winners. They are the best of the best at demonstrating the ability to attract diversity with engineering through an initiative or a project. I was honored to be one of the jurists again this year, and let me say how difficult it was to select the winner. But we were so impressed by this project that simply but powerfully allowed people of diverse faculties to create together. Now, I'm not going to steal all the thunder from our presenters, but we were electrified at how their capstone experience helped students recognize the value of their own disciplinary skills, how to work across boundaries, and understand that to take on today's problems requires us to learn and work together for a common purpose. You know, bringing together diverse populations is one thing. The big hurdle is for them to work together. So again, congratulations to all our winners. I look forward to hearing from them. And let me turn it back to Sarin, who will introduce us to those past winners. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Amanda. It has indeed been a pleasure and privilege to work with you on those juries for several years now. With that, I will go on to my mandatory shameless advertising of my university, because I have joined the American University of Sharjah this past February, right before our lives globally changed for the foreseeable future. I need to say that also to dispel any claims of potential conflicts of interest, because our next panelist is my dear esteemed colleague, the head of Department of Computer Science and Engineering, Professor Fadi Alil, who was the 2015 winner of the award. So at the time, I was, of course, with Global Engineering Deans Council much longer than I've been at AUS. But here is the shameless plug. I would like to not pass up the opportunity of expressing. As a Turkish-American woman, I have joined American University of Sharjah as the first female engineering dean in the United Arab Emirates. And I get to work with chivalrous gentlemen such as Fadi. So I will pass on the microphone to him for him to introduce his 2015 winning project. Fadi, I understand you need to share your screen also.
Yes, please. Yes. So thank you, Shireen, for the kind introduction, and we're happy to have you with us at the US. I hope, although we haven't seen you except for a month face to face, and then we went all online, but we hope that we will see you face to face soon again. It's awkward that you are very close, yet we need to see each other via Zoom and teleconferencing tools. So if you don't mind, I'll share my screen, and I understand that I have a few minutes, probably 5 or 6 minutes to talk about my previous projects. I'm not sure how. Let me just try to minimize this. Okay. So is my screen visible?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, very well.
Okay. So good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, or good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you for the kind invitation. It's always great to see back the GEDC team and the Airbus team. It creates great memories. It's been 5 years since I presented this project on behalf of the American University Sharjah's College of Engineering and the team that worked with me on this back in Adelaide, Australia. I think it was in December, and it's great to see other winners with me on this panel today, esteemed panel, and I look forward to their talks. So just to give an overview, brief overview, the project that we shared back in 2015 was a first-year undergraduate engineering course that we developed at the American University of Sharjah back almost in 2005. It was completely revamped, and we presented basically our results 10 years later, which thankfully won the award, and I will be sharing with you some of what the reasons and what we did with this project. So in the UAE, most of our governmental schools are basically restricted to specific nationalities or specific basically genders. So the diversity is very minimal. You'll see it in some of the schools. And while some private schools definitely have more diversity, it is not taught very well. So we either lack it in terms of student distribution or in terms of delivering it in the school system. And we know today that the world really needs engineers as much as possible, and diversity is becoming a very, very important role in order to basically succeed in today's business, in today's world, as my colleagues in this panel, Suzanne and Amanda mentioned a few minutes ago. And what we proposed to do at the American University of Sharjah was to bring in this first-year introduction to engineering course, which is taken by all the freshman students that joined the College of Engineering, and I'll show some statistics in a few seconds. And the goal was to attract them into engineering. So this goal, had to really impress them, excite them about the profession, make them really like the engineering major, enjoy it, see the value of studying it and spending 4 years in their undergraduate studies, simulating their critical thinking, creativity, and innovation, help develop their soft skills, which is very important. I'd say 50% of the course was really on soft skills, and focusing on team diversity. This was pretty much the main point of this course, which is the importance of diversity and why it's needed to be a successful engineer in today's world. And without that, they would never be able to succeed in a company later on once they graduate and so on, and help them become better fit and productive when it comes to joining the workforce. So what we have basically is that this course has been applied to almost 10,000 students. So since 2005, we've had approximately 700 to 800 students enroll in this course. And up till today, I think the numbers probably reached 12 or 13,000. We have a very good female to male percentage, with 32% females, with some majors like computer science, computer engineering, and chemical and industrial having a higher female ratio than males, but on average 32%. What's really great is that we have 100+ nationalities. So we have a great diversity of nationalities, and the age usually is between 16 and 20 years old. And of course, these are the majors that we offer. That we have 7 different engineering disciplines that we offer in the College of Engineering. And what we did was we wanted to focus on the diversity and the importance of that. And what we started doing is that we placed the students into teams of 5 students each. And each of these five students had different backgrounds in terms of gender, in terms of nationality, in terms of basically major. So so it was random, yet the diversification was important. And so we had almost 500 students in one class. All 500 students or 100 teams were given one project to work on, and this was their capstone project. But this is the freshman year; this is not the graduation project. And due to the limited resources, any project idea that we gave it to them, and we gave them different ideas every semester. So over almost 10 years, we talk about every semester a different challenging idea. Had to require low-cost material where the students can, it uses plastic, paper, glue, tape, straws, very basic material which they can get from homes. Doesn't cost them much, yet they are able to apply their problem-solving skills, apply their design skills, apply their soft skills, their decision-making skills, conflict management skills, and so on, to be able to deliver a successful project at the end of the semester. But the most important part is that diversity was heavily focused in that project. In addition to that, there were many other aspects to the course that we also added, such as a competition at the end of this course for all the students to display their projects for a whole audience, not only the AUS students and faculty and staff, but even we opened the competition to external entities to join. We had some very interesting lab experiments. We used technology heavily in that course. Up to today, we allow the students to do online polling, tweet their answers, display their answers online, which, those are digital natives, so they really love to see social media and technology being heavily used in this class and gets them excited and aware all the time. We always bring in some inspiring guest speakers, to talk about, the future, to talk about the importance of diversity, the importance of engineers, and so on in today's society. And of course, we share with them different videos. Given the amount of time, I will not talk much about each, but let me focus on the projects. These are some of the projects. I mean, we have different ideas, different posters every semester. If you look at them, building a crane. So let me go some pictures here. We have here, these are images from the competitions that we have at the end of every semester. When the weather is good in December, we have them outdoors. When the weather is hot in May, we have them indoors. So I'm going to share with you the beautiful outdoor pictures here, or most of them are outdoors. But basically, this is a crane where the students have to build a crane out of, paper where it has to carry a certain weight. This is another competition where students had to build a car made of that is powered by balloon, and the car can cross a specific distance in the fastest time wins. More images here. This is another experiment or a project where the students had to build like a spaghetti bridge that can carry the heaviest weight without breaking. Again, all made by teams of 5 students with disciplinary backgrounds. Here is another example of a boat that made out of toothpicks, which had to float and carry a heavy water bottle without sinking or breaking. This is a helicopter that basically made out of rubber bands and papers and pencils with specific, of course, constraints. We put some constraints to make it challenging and require the students to work on it for at least 6 to 7 weeks. But this had to fly for the highest distance in this closed rotunda that we have. And the one that flew for the longest time won the award. Here is a paper, or basically you can think of this body, a dome made out of toothpicks or basically earbuds that had to carry a heavy amount of books, as you can see here, without crashing. And the lightest, paper dome here, or the paper object here, would be the winner. Very simple stuff made out of paper, toothpicks, matches, and so on, that cost nothing, yet really can be challenging for the students to work together and build something. This is like a ping pong ball sorter. And what was nice about these projects is that it was heavily supported by the upper administration. So we would always have the dean. Today we are happy to have Shireen with us attend these competitions. Sometimes even the chancellor and the provost attends, which also gives another excitement dimension to the students and shows the importance of this course and this project, the importance of diversity, with the endorsement of the upper administration in this. So this is an example of a competition award where the dean is attending and the judges here and the winning students. We've heavily, assessed the impact of this course and the impact of these projects by running continuously, surveys throughout the course, after the course, even in their 4th year, when they're about to graduate, we go back and ask them, how was that course? Was it useful during your education, and so on? Of course, we have plenty of data to share, but it's not, given the amount of time, it's not enough to share today. But we wanted to focus also, I think at that time, something that judges were looking for, which is transferability. How would the course be transferred to others? We've published this in journals and conferences. We have YouTube videos that talk about it. We have it in the news and social media, and we have a course website that talks about this course. So that's something that also is important for others who are interested in adopting a similar course. To conclude, really, I'd like to say that basically, UAE today is known as one of the most attractive, innovative, successful countries, and mainly this is the reason because it hosts 200+ nationality. Diversity is a critical thing or a very important thing that our leaders here in the UAE believe in and are always looking forward to. And this is, I believe, what makes UAE and all the countries that have the same belief powerful and successful and attractive to the engineers and the community around us. With that, I'd like to conclude my session. Thank you.
Thank you, Fadi. Next, it is my pleasure to introduce Jakob Astatke, the Assistant Vice President for International Affairs of Morgan State University. Jakob is the 2016 winner of the award, and since then he has been contributing to the cause of the award, most recently serving on the jury, as was earlier stated. Having served on these juries towards the award, I need to recognize another partner, a vital part of the Airbus GEDC Diversity Awards has been our communications partner, Petrus Communications. Ms. Kirsten Williamson, heading up Petrus Communications, has been devoted to this cause as much as any one of us. So here's a shout out to colleagues, to Kirsten and her team. In 2016, it was again a difficult but extremely pleasant job to select Professor Astatke's project, which was to bring training and capabilities to a multiplicity of Ethiopian universities for the purpose of improving engineering education in Africa. So Jakob, the floor is yours.
Go ahead, Jakob. You can speak. Your mic is open and your slides are visible.
Unfortunately, Jakob, we cannot hear you.
Oh, I think he had the mic on earlier. He still has it on. I think the volume may be gone. Check your volume. Your microphone is green, so it should be working. Maybe some setting. Speak up now. Let's see.
In 2016, we had 40 candidates from over 17 countries.
You should be able to speak, Jakob. I don't know why it's not. Why volume is not coming out. Maybe some setting. You were okay when you first joined.
Perhaps you try a different microphone.
I think we can hear. No.
No.
How about now? This microphone.
I can hear you barely, very, very, very quietly. So there's a microphone on somewhere, but it is like you're 100 feet away.
How about now? I know. How about now?
No.
I can hear you, but it's very, very quiet.
Yes, I'm sorry.
Ah,
How about
no.
now? I'm so sorry.
Whatever you're speaking.
Thank you. How about my?
Keep coming.
I'm trying to share. Can you see my screen?
Yep. Yeah,
We
put
did
it on.
a
Put it on. Click on show my screen. You had it earlier.
Yeah, show my screen. Where is that? Where do I show? I'm sorry.
You had it earlier.
No one can see. How about now? Okay, so
now it's
people
okay.
can see your screen. Can you see my screen now?
Very good. Yes.
All right, thank you. Sorry for the confusion, but the problem is I'm trying to see if I can see my screen myself so I can present. Where is my screen? Friday, I should have gotten some training from you, man. I cannot see my screen now. Where is my screen? I don't use Google Meet a lot, so where is my screen? Okay, change. I'm sorry, where is my screen? There we go, okay. Can you see me now? Okay, I can see now, I'm sorry.
Okay. Yes.
I went to the next screen.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry for the
Perfect.
confusion. So like Shirin said, my proposal was really to help students in Ethiopia who don't have access to hands-on hardware to get a better education in engineering, because a lot of the education in Ethiopia is based on theory and not on practice. So the goal of my presentation was to see how I can help Ethiopian students. And now this is a project I started in 2009. And the impact of the Airbus GEDC Award in 2016 is the fact that from 2009 to 2016, I only had 5 universities using this technology in pedagogy. But since the GEDC Award, we went from 5 universities to 29 universities, which is close to 90% of all engineering programs in Ethiopia. And our goal was really to help improve the hands-on experience of our graduates. So Morgan is really in Baltimore, Maryland. We're a small university with about 8,000 students. And we've been doing this work in Africa for the past 11 years now. So this is the technology we helped develop in 2009. And it's really what it did was it took a whole rack of electrical engineering instrumentation, and we just compressed it into a small portable board. And the piece that is exciting is that the cost per station went from about $5,000 to $10,000 to about $250. So when I saw this technology in 2008, 2009, and our colleagues from RPI are the ones who designed it, I knew that this will be a game changer for students in Africa who always don't have access to instrumentation. So we tested it from 2009 until 2013. It was commercialized in 2013, and now we have so many ways of using it. One of the great things about this technology is that back in 2010 and 2011 and 2012, I know that today, because of COVID, a lot of engineering programs had to scratch and figure out how to teach electrical engineering courses online, especially what do you do with the lab courses. I was already doing that in 2012. I had these boards, which were not even the commercial boards, but I distributed them to my online students, and I was actually teaching electrical engineering class fully online back in 2012, and I also was able to do the same thing in Ethiopia with some students. So the technology has matured now, but it's great to know that something that we have developed in 2009, 2010 is now very popular around electrical engineering programs in the US and around the world. This is the different versions. The first commercial version was launched in 2013. The one that I'm using now in Ethiopia is the one from Analog Devices, and we even have a $50 version which we use for high school students and first-year freshman students. And then we use the $150 one is the one that we use in Ethiopia for second-year, third-year, and fourth-year students. Now, one of the key things about the problem in Ethiopia and other African countries is the fact that a lot of universities are excellent with theory, but when it comes to hands-on and applications, they have no lab equipment. So therefore, a lot of the students are top-notch students. They can memorize all these equations. They can do all the simulation, but when you ask them to design and build a circuit, they never had the chance to do that. Therefore, they were always stuck. And the problem with a lot of African universities is that they always graduate students who are looking for a job instead of graduating students who can create a job. And as you know, Africa has a 1 billion population, 70% are under 25, and you need the type of graduates who can create jobs because the governments in Africa cannot provide enough jobs for everybody. So in Ethiopia in 2010, from 2010 to 2013, we got support from Analog Devices. They gave us their prototype boards, and they also had money for laptops, and we had to do training. As you know, faculty training and pedagogy training is very important. And the great thing is that after I did 2 rounds of training, I had enough faculty from the Addis Institute of Technology who served as my hands-on training members. So as I went back to Ethiopia year after year, I was very happy that at least the students that I trained, the faculty that I trained, became the people who trained the other Ethiopians. So the knowledge transfer and capacity building was already happening from 2010 to 2016, except that we were growing very slowly and gradually. And the Airbus Award in 2016, I was really happy to, I told them that at that time, I was trying to go from 5 universities to about 10 to 15 universities. And my plan was to take this technology and pedagogy and share it with other universities. To my surprise, I got the support of the Ministry of Higher Education in Ethiopia. And in 2019, we ran a series of workshops, and we had 29 universities send their faculty, about close to 100 faculty members who joined. We were so excited that these faculty now have returned back to the university, and they're showing this knowledge and technology. And at the same time, we now have close to 8 to 10 new local trainers who have the hands-on skills, who know how to use the hardware and the software very well. And when the other university faculty have a problem, they don't need to call me anymore. They call each other and they are working together. Of course, the universities are widespread around the country, so we still need to find time and space to bring them together. Unfortunately, as you know, these are some pictures from 2019. You can see that we're doing a lot of hands-on. We also do pedagogy training. We also introduced the universities to new technology, especially those from Kwanzaa. They do have a lot of work in mechatronics and robotics. And the great thing is this faculty who come from the countryside, where they only have 1 station per lab, are returning home with a lab kit, and then we are now encouraging their university and their School of Engineering to purchase these directly from the manufacturer. 2 things we did with these boards is for the students who are 5th-year students who have to do capstone projects, they didn't have any lab equipment that they can borrow from home to take home. So they were forced to do a lot of simulations. But now that we gave them these tools, a lot of them were able to do advanced projects because now they can take the hardware at home. They can share it with their colleagues and their classmates, and they're doing amazing projects that in previous years they could not do. So they're really expanding their knowledge. But the biggest impact we saw was how they teach labs in the university, especially in the countryside. The picture you see on the right here, you have up to 20 students doing a lab. As you can see, this lab, as the students are supposed to be doing the lab, but in reality, they just watch the instructor doing a demonstration. And that was the state of the lab teaching in the countryside. I'm not saying the city, but in the countryside. After we donated the equipment, as you can see on the bottom, now we have these laptops which are connected to these boards, and now these are becoming their own benches. And now, if you can see on the right side on the bottom, we went from 20 students per bench to about 3 to 5 students per bench. So the students are getting a much better education. And of course, our goal is to take this technology and pedagogy and convince the Ministry of Higher Education in Ethiopia to spread it throughout all the universities. As you know, with COVID, since all the universities have a shutdown for face-to-face instruction, we are hoping and we're working closely with the university systems so that they can order it. In conclusion, oh, this is the last piece that really excited me. The students in Ethiopia got excited, so excited that back in 2017, after 5 years of trying in Ethiopia, they actually designed their own portable board. So I was excited to share this with all of you, that they were excited that because when they asked me who designed the board, I told them that it was just a couple of faculty members and students, and they said we can do the same. And with the small technology that they have in Ethiopia, design their on board. Of course, it's not commercially available yet, but it shows that if you expose students and faculty to new technology, they can take it to the next level. And we're hoping that these universities now can produce their own boards locally and make it available to other students. Finally, of course, some of the concerns in Ethiopia is the turnover in faculty. That's why we have to run training sessions every year, at least twice a year, because what happens is that the faculty we trained in the previous year leave after a year or two, and so we have to keep training. Of course, COVID stopped everything. We didn't do any workshops in 2020. We're hoping that we can go back and do more training, both face-to-face and virtual, in 2021. And this is it. That's the end of my presentation. Thank you for your attention, and I'm looking forward to any discussions afterwards.
Thank you very much, Jakob. And now it's my pleasure to introduce the much anticipated winners of the 2019 award. We have with us to present the awards winning project, Danielle Robinson and Franz Newland. They will reflect on the ongoing project going on to their second year. Danielle is faculty with the School of Arts, Media, Performance and Design at York University, and Franz is faculty with the engineering school there. Their project really impressed and excited us. Without further ado, let me leave the floor to them to present their project. Danielle and Franz.
So whose screen are we seeing? Who should be the presenter, Danielle? Or
So if you could let me have access, that would be great. Thank you.
Franz will be the presenter. Okay. You just have to click show my screen.
We are setting up the show screen. I will just want to say thank you, Shireen, for the welcome. I will hopefully soon see what you can all see. Okay, can you now see my slides?
Yes.
Yes.
It's in presenter mode.
Yeah,
okay, that's the wrong version. So let me try that one. There we go.
There we go.
I'm just thanking of the fun that we all have in our classrooms at the minute with our virtual teaching and thinking about the fun of that. But I did also want to thank Jakob and Fadi for your incredible presentations of your projects, and quite inspirational. So thank you for that. But I'm going to hand over to Danielle to get us started. So.
Great, thank you, Franz. So C4 was launched last year at York University. It was the creation of the York Capstone Network and supported by the York University Faculty Association, the Academic Innovation Fund, and the Lassonde School of Engineering. It was mobilized by a team of professors from the arts, health, sciences, liberal arts, and engineering, and led by Franz and Danielle. Together, this team was driven by a commitment to create an interdisciplinary space for research design projects that connect teams of students with real-world challenges that deliver social impact. But what we really wanted was to bring diverse voices into a capstone classroom so we could tackle all aspects of complex issues that are impacting our world today.
So C4 is a course, but it's actually also not a course. And what I mean by that is that students register in a course in their home faculties so that they can get credit for taking C4. And then that is their gateway into the C4 course space. So their next job is to show up at Pitch Week, and this is the time when they get to meet all our industry partners and community partners and hear about the projects that we've curated for them from these different groups. And students then form into their teams, and we try and make sure that we have students from a number of different disciplines so that they can actually tackle not just one aspect of the project, but the complete project. And then this launches them on their project journey, which gets supported by the teaching team, the project partners, and faculty across campus. And the C4 journey wraps up with a celebration of everyone's accomplishments at the end of the academic year with our celebration day, where students get to present their projects. The projects get judged, and we do have prizes that get awarded as well.
So our pilot test began a year ago with a sprint to find students and projects. Thankfully, our pitch day, the original one, drew hundreds of curious students, professors, and community members, which ultimately led to 77 students enrolling from 23 different majors and 8 faculties. This year, we were projected to draw students from every single faculty on campus, and thus more than double the number of programs participating. Our reach has been even wider, which enables the teams to be even more diverse.
And so what do some of these projects look like? So last year, the students were matched into 11 teams, and their projects ranged from a project looking at solar energy to antimatter, to ride sharing that can tackle the environmental impacts, and home farming, our Loop Affordable Indoor Farming Group. In addition, there were several projects that involved technology, but didn't include engineering students on the teams, recognizing that technology is taken up in many ways in society today. So we had a group of students who designed and welded a garbage compactor that teaches environmentalism. And we had a number of student groups building interactive websites for different communities. But perhaps the best thing to do at this point actually is to hear from our students themselves. So I'm wondering if now you could just play the short video that we've sent.
Okay, Sridhar will play it. He's taking the screen back. He will play it.
Thank you, Serene, for that. If I could get back the screen, I can present the rest of the presentation. So yes, our students are our most powerful advocates, and they can talk really passionately about our projects. And so I just wanted to highlight some of the projects that are building on last year's this year. So we have, we'll tell you how many projects we're running this year shortly, but our solar floaties team has a Mark II version this year where they're looking at tackling the challenge of desalination. Our Green Go group is running a second iteration. Markham Arts are engaged again. We have the Loop Waste and Community Food community that we're working with. And some of our alumni from our first year of C4 are actually proposing projects, and we're running some COVID-related projects this year with some of the students who did the course last year. But in addition, I think what's interesting this year is we have some teams looking at ethical ways of implementing artificial intelligence and navigating online truth. we have groups looking at future policies and technologies to tackle discrimination in all its forms. We have a group looking at the 15-minute city, how we can help cities be far more community-based, and motivating academia and businesses to engage in the Sustainable Development Goals. So these are big societal challenges that we're getting students to tackle all aspects on.
As mentioned, the original leadership team behind this initiative came from arts, engineering, health, liberal arts, and environmental studies. We were multidisciplinary, just like the projects students pursued and the teams that made them possible. This uniquely positioned us to relate to the ups and downs that they were experiencing since we were going through them too. In addition to the teaching team, each project was supported by a community or industry partner who served as a mentor across the school year. These partners were from nonprofits, for-profits, and startups. Together, we supported the C4 students through their distinct project journeys. For this year, the teaching team has grown to 10 people, 8 professors, and 2 TAs. Thank goodness. So COVID-19 has greatly impacted our plans, of course. We are all online this year. And despite the fact that students seem to be making conservative course choices, if they're staying in school at all right now, which is completely understandable, a large number of students have started on this year's journey with us. We did not struggle to find projects and partners. 2 weeks ago, we were able to offer 70 distinct challenges to students from every faculty at York. The projects fell into 10 themes: loop waste, AI for good, accessibility and inclusiveness, future business, sustainable development, among many others. And as of Monday night, 2 nights ago, which was our second class, we have 170 students from 9 faculties who are grouped into 24 teams. So despite COVID, we have more than doubled in size, which is fantastic. This year, we added students for the first time from the Schulich School of Business and the Faculty of Education. We have even stronger participation from the faculties of Health, Arts, Environmental Studies, Science, and our bilingual campus. This has enabled the teams to include students from 3 or 4 different faculties in each team, so that their perspectives are even more diverse than before.
And as Danielle said, our teaching team has grown as well, thankfully. We have professors and TAs in the classroom from engineering, from health, from environmental studies, education, arts, and liberal arts. And we've also brought in a teamwork specialist who's actively shaping our curriculum as well. And we're all engaged in the hard work that comes with a diverse teaching team, supporting diverse students. And this year's really all about testing scalability, transitioning from that startup mode that we were in last year to trying to work out how to make this more operational. And it's a very different culture in a way. We're working out what's repeatable from last year, what's unique to each cohort. And by the end of the year, we're hoping to have more of a sort of playbook that could be offered to other universities on how to roll this out. The award itself, we wanted to touch on. It's been remarkably supportive. It's helped C4 become integrated into the story of York across the campus. Obviously, we regretted not being able to meet our other finalists in person and to meet the judging panel and to come to Toulouse. And at the same time, it's humbling to be recognized in our pilot year. We really appreciated that the judges recognized this was the year we needed support to move from that first run into something that's actually sustainable and recognizing our different ways of thinking diversity. So thank you.
Thank you very much.
We thank you. It is just as pleasant to see the impact of this project already as it was back when we were serving on the jury. Now I'd like to open the floor for questions. We do have a little bit of time, although we're running over. All the presentations were brilliant, so nobody's complaining, I'm sure. To get the ball rolling, I would like to remember here with Danielle and Franz, there's one student who said she was happy to not be pigeonholed into the identity of her major, but she was happy to bring her whole self I'm missing the words, the nomenclature of the pedagogy that goes into this, but the whole person that really stayed with me. Would you like to comment on that a little bit?
Yeah, absolutely. So the thing about C4 is that students come into this space often with their disciplinary lens, and hopefully they leave the space recognizing they are all of themselves when they do the work. So, you know, I think of myself as an engineer, and I think when I do engineering as a father, as a husband, as a member of society, I do engineering differently than if I think of myself just as the engineer I am. And so all of our students often come in with this struggle of what's my disciplinary voice, and hopefully they leave the space recognizing that what matters is how they can engage all of themselves in the challenges that the world has today.
And I also think that when you're thinking about diversity and you're working in a diverse space, the tendency is for people to get pigeonholed into, oh, you're that person and you're that person, you have that perspective, oh, you're contributing that. I think it's really important when working in diverse spaces, and well, any space actually, to recognize that we're whole people with a lot of dimensions and we have a lot of things to offer. And I certainly feel that I've, in this experience, that I was certainly able to draw on my dance PhD, but I was also able to draw on my other degrees and my other work experiences and my other life experiences in leading this project. And I think that builds a really strong, trusting team because you know and recognize and value each other and yourself.
And exactly to Danielle's point, all of us with our backgrounds within the teaching team, we've discovered interesting things about each other. So Danielle has a really rich background that doesn't just include the arts, media, performance and design, and so do I, and so do all the teaching team. But what we're allowing our students to do is recognize they do too. So.
If you allow me, perhaps just one comment more from a corporate level. What you said, Franz and Danielle, I find very, very interesting. It's also something that translates, I can speak of Airbus, but not only Airbus, where I think one of the important things when we speak about hiring diversity, it's also diversity of thought, is putting people into different businesses, different perspectives. I think coming from an engineer, personally, I'm not an engineer, but those coming from an engineering background can bring a lot of added value, a different perspective. In one of the videos, we saw somebody saying, I was able to take 30 steps, 30 feet back to take a look at the problem. And I think also by creating diverse teams, particularly in the field of innovation, be it business innovation or technical innovation, I think this is really one of the riches that this diverse student body can also bring, not even from as a student, but also coming into a corporation, is being in different teams and moving around and having this opportunity to move from one business division to another, from one country to another. And this is what really, really creates this innovation of thought, which I think is so, so important in our community, in our company, and in the universities as well.
Thank you. Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So something really that we'd like to promote together with GEDC and with all of the participants and the different universities that we're working with. So a lot of good ideas and a lot of food for thought for us as well.
Thank you.
Thank you, Susanna. Maybe with that, I want to continue with Airbus colleagues. So Amanda, you have any questions or comments?
You know, it's interesting just listening to the presentations today. I've learned more that is useful than from the original pitches when they were finalists. Digging more into the details, we discover more attributes that are useful. And so I thank you all for presenting again today. I mean, I learned, and I'm always open to learning, and it's wonderful. And then we have to take the learning and apply, and that's our step as well.
Jakob?
I also want to say I'm really impressed with all presentations, I know I was one of the judges on the C4 presentation, so I'm really impressed with what they've done. And I'm definitely going to talk to my Dean of Engineering to ask him, we need to talk to them to see if we can implement and learn from each other. So that's the piece for us. So you should be getting an email from Morgan State University very soon, and we're definitely going to form a partnership. And when COVID is over, I'll definitely come and visit you.
Wonderful. We look forward to it. That would be wonderful.
If Sharon, if I could just make one additional with respect to the presentation, one of the questions that I noted, but again, Jakob, you mentioned this as well, is trying to see perhaps how to roll this out into different universities as well. I think maybe that would be one of the next steps, something perhaps that we could also help support on, not only winning and giving you mentoring, but also maybe to help you through our networks, because I think it's something we were all very, very happy, not only that you participated, but also that you were the winning project, but because there really is merit and tangible and meaningful results out of this. And I think working with our university partners, it's also perhaps something that we can discuss. Amanda, I know that you're much in contact in North America and in the Americas with universities. Perhaps this is something that we could help support together.
Yes, and one of the things that we have, one of the members of our team is actually focused on the learning from our experiences. So she's been involved for the last couple of years, and she's helping us to try and extract some of that learning so that again we can get that. But we are absolutely keen to work with others. That's how we learn as well. So we're excited to have that possibility.
Thank you.
And I
we
would
recently, oh, go ahead.
Go ahead, Tanya.
I was just going to say that we recently were part of a grant that would give us funding to travel around sharing the sort of playbook that we've created. So we're waiting to hear about those results.
Okay.
I'd like to now pass the mic to Fadi, but before I do so, I think I'm going to note that I'm well aware that I will be completely misusing my power as both the GEDC chair and the jury member and the Dean of Engineering at AUS to think about and to send you all an email about porting similar projects to our university. So Fadi? You need to unmute yourself. You're still muted, Fadi, if you would. Can I do that? Do you see your microphone? Krishna, could you unmute Fadi maybe?
Okay, now it's working.
Here we go.
Okay.
So it is really impressive. Thanks, Shireen. It's really impressive to see what Jakob did and what Franz and Daniel did. It follows, especially the C4 project. I see a lot of similarities to what we did at the American University of Sharjah, where we had the diversity among mainly gender backgrounds in terms of engineering majors, I put it this way, and probably majors and so on. But you added another flavor, which is other colleges, which we did not. And I think, Shireen, this year the Ministry of Education actually in the UAE is introducing or asking universities to introduce an innovation course that is mandatory by all the students in all majors. So it's just as simple, it's like a simple English course or a simple math course. So it's going to be a course that is a common course across all. And I think, we have the Dean of Engineering with us here. I'm sure she's going to be driving the force to ask the other deans from the other colleges also to introduce into that course this multidisciplinary project, which now will involve not only multiple engineering majors, but also a business and architecture and a liberal arts major to work on a similar project. So there's definitely a lot to learn from C4, and I think we have the space to apply it not only to AUS but across all universities, at least DOE, since this is mandated by the ministry. So this is very exciting to see, and looking forward to collaborate on this.
Thank you so much, Fadi. Krishna, do we have any questions in the chats window maybe? Or does the panel have any other questions?
Not really. I mean, they've been quiet.
So I would just want to say, imagine, we've worked with C4 to try and work out how to connect students across a campus, but imagine if we can connect all our students across the world and we can get to a place where, the youth of today are actually tackling the challenges of today. Imagine that. That would be such an exciting thing to see.
I think that's a wonderful note to end on. We didn't run over too much, and I personally don't know where the time went. Thank you all so very much for this wonderful session, and hope to keep on celebrating diversity with all of you and more of the big, diverse global family. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye, everybody. Bye-bye.
Stay safe.